can be a very healthy emotion. It's as normal, as I say, as love, and it's built into the emotion of love. If you care about somebody, you want to protect that relationship.
But if you're confident, you shouldn't be jealous, and jealousy is a... If you're jealous, it means you don't like yourself, you're insecure, you have low self-esteem, and you're in effect saying, who would love a guy like me, therefore, oh my goodness, look at her talking to the other guy at the other side of the room of the party. I understand all this. That's the end of our show, and thank you all.
A jealous man.
Isn't that pretty close, though?
No, not really. No, right. I mean,
Richard Robertiello, MD, you're a psychoanalyst, and you're here to say what, sir? About that issue, that I'm wrong, in addition to saying I'm wrong.
Well, first of all, I think jealousy is a normal emotion. Yeah. If you are insecure and you do have a low self-esteem, that makes it much worse and much more painful. But if you don't have any jealousy at all, you're in trouble, too.
We're not talking, if we're talking about the person who sees shadows where they don't exist, who sees rivals where they don't exist, you're at a party and your husband or your mate is across the room just talking to a good-looking stranger, and right away you walked in that party feeling great. Suddenly you feel defeated, you feel small, you feel angry.
Just talking is always the way it starts, Nancy.
Well, not necessarily, but if you think you own that person, do you own their smiles? There's one thing, that's possession. That is not love. We have to give the other person a life of their own, a little bit of life of their own. But Dr. Robertiello is right. If our self-esteem is low, we can't compete. And that's the thing about the jealous situation. When you find yourself in it, you want to be able to jump in there and regain your love, right? Women so often, especially, I think, myself included, in a jealous situation, whether it's only in my mind and he's innocent or not, I freeze. I can't get in there and compete. 1 minute ago, I entered that party thinking I was queen of the night. Suddenly he's over there. There's this gorgeous woman, and I feel like this.
And he's laughing and having a good time.
Oh, he's laughing, but he's innocent. It's all in my head. Do you know what that is, Phil? That's called projection. You see, and women are so susceptible to it.
You mean if a good-looking guy was talking to me, I would be in some lusty way? Is that your point?
No. What I'm talking about is because women have traditionally had our sexuality tapped down, repressed, we're afraid that if we even own up to our fantasies, that we're guilty. We're afraid if we own up to our real desires when a good-looking man goes by, that will threaten our bond to our man. So we tap it down, we try to be good girls. Yeah. And when the handsome man goes by us, we say, I'm not attracted, I'm a nice woman.
Now let's get
and then we see our husband across the room, and he's attracted to someone, we say, the rat. Now, he's innocent, but we've taken this desire out of ourselves, and we've laid it on him. We're pure, he's the rat.
So show me a jealous person, and I'll show you a person who is vulnerable to being seduced. In other words, if you're jealous, you're really a person who might be capable of an indiscretion yourself.
Exactly.
But that's much more true about women than men.
Because women's sexuality is suppressed.
Because men are allowed to stray. I mean, there isn't the social
So a jealous woman is a woman who might just cheat on her husband?
No, she might want to, but find that very unacceptable.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on.
Much less so than a man would.
Now, what happens when jealousy is used in a manipulative way? That someone is trying to make their partner jealous so that they can be assured of their love?
Well, that's not infrequent. That certainly happens a lot, and it's usually a way of countering their own feeling of jealousy.
Come on, give me some wisdom.
Or getting your beloved's attention back on you. Some people, of course, also have their best sexual moments after a jealous bout. That's not uncommon.
Over here, please.
Aren't we perhaps starting a little too far ahead in life? Doesn't this thing start off with children being jealous of their mother or father?
Very good point, sir. Very good.
Well, that too, or jealous of their siblings, even more so.
You want to pick up on that?
Oh, yes. I mean, without a doubt, in this book I've just completed, Jealousy, my strongest case for understanding jealousy is to understand your own history. Some of us are more jealous than other people. We all know that. Or you have children, and you know one of your children is more insecure and more jealous than the other child. Where does this begin? It begins in the first years of life, because in the first years of life are where we learn our best defenses against jealousy. If we had good mothering, this is where we get our best self-esteem. Let me quickly put in a plug here for fathers, because if you've got two people loving you, if you've got two sources of love, you have a better chance to build a healthier self-esteem. But yes, it's in the first years of life, especially the first year. And if you had a lot of loss in your life early on, if you lost a parent to divorce, if you lost a parent to death, if you had a sibling who came along, a brother and a sister, and you were 2 or 3 or 4, you knew that your special place in the family was usurped, and if you really felt that your parents favored that brother or sister over you, there was a triangle, and you lost, and very often, forever after in your life, whenever there's a triangle again, because jealousy is 3, you're going to think, I'm going to lose again, just the way I lost to my brother.
You're going to be jealous whether there's a third person or not, it sounds like what you're saying.
But it takes a third person.
So
jealousy
in other words,
is 3 people.
You're so conditioned to loss and disappointment that when you finally hit it, and you're euphoric, and you really, this is it, my everything, you'll be terrified that person's going to bail out on you.
Yeah,
yes,
and
because
find
you're...
somebody else, because that's what happened to you with your sister when she was born, for instance.
With your parents.
What?
Well,
Even
that
with your parents,
too.
the Oedipal complex has to enter into this.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
The children
And
being jealous of the parent of usually the opposite sex, I would imagine.
But I
very
think
true.
We're finding more and more that it starts earlier than that. It starts usually even in the first year of life, and that jealousy really starts with jealousy of other siblings.
Hang on just one second. Are you there? Hi.
Yes.
Go ahead.
First of all, I'm married to a jealous husband.
Yeah. Does he let you? Yeah. What? I don't have a lot of time, so this sounds like a long story.
No, I'm just saying.
Can you go out alone?
Oh, heavens no. I'm not allowed.
Yeah. You can't bowl with the girls?
Oh, no. I cannot go to the grocery store without coming home, and he asked me, did the bag boy talk to you? Did he bring your groceries to the car? I mean,
what boy?
The bag boy.
The bag boy.
Oh, there's the old bag boy again.
I tell you, listen, some of these bag boys are nice looking.
Listen,
Shouldn't make fun here. Wait a minute. You have children?
Can I say, what has happened? When we first dated, he was jealous, and he was wondering why I wasn't jealous. He said I didn't love him. Jealousy is not love. It's possessiveness.
Yeah.
And you cannot possess another person.
I just want to get, how long have you been married?
I've been married now for 6 years.
6 years. Do you have children?
I have 2 children from a previous marriage.
Uh-huh. Well, what is that, uh-huh? What does that mean?
But, I mean, I come home sometimes.
Well, somehow, you don't feel sorry for her now, do you? Well, that's not fair.
I think, Phil...
So you're a prisoner in your house?
But then I make that decision. That is my choice. Because he has other good
That's why they're not sorry for you, they're saying.
But, Phil, I think you also have to ask this woman, maybe she married this man because he is that way. And some people like this. Some people like their mate to be overly concerned about them. Also, you know, listen to this woman talk. I don't think 20 years ago we would be hearing so many men expressing their jealousy as we hear today. 20 years ago, when the patriarchal society was much more in force and women were totally dependent on the man, totally dependent for their self-esteem, for their identity, for the roof over their head, for everything, the man was pretty cocksure that the woman wasn't going to stray. I mean, he was protected from his jealousy by the double standard, by the patriarchal society.
And he also by the system that put her in the house for the first 21 years of the children's lives.
Oh, yes, it's a continuation
you know,
of what
we
she
can
had
only
with
speculate on how this whole business, this whole cataclysmic change in our culture of women working outside the home, as we say, has influenced emotionally the male. I mean, a lot of guys, I think, survive their own jealous instincts by keeping her at home.
And they can't do that anymore.
No,
I mean,
they can't.
It's all wide open.
I know that.
The war
and
between the men and the women.
And they meet, you know, the women are meeting guys at the water cooler and...
Just the way the men used to meet women at the water cooler.
Xerox machine. It's a wonder that so many of you are coming home.
My question pertained to what the person had said on the telephone. But from what the studio audience is saying, it sounds like a sort of blame the victim strategy and blame the woman who's in a bad situation. There are a lot of reasons why a person could be in that sort of situation. And is it fair to blame that person?
You sound like you're not happy to me.
I am not happy with the situation.
All right, well, we have at least one person.
What here is he has taught me how to be jealous. I was not jealous when we first met. Then I see how he thinks about things, and I'm saying, well, if he thinks that way about me, then what is he doing? And then I have learned to be jealous myself, and I don't like it.
So you're all happy with your own neuroses. I assume you don't, when you go out with him, you go out with other couples, right?
We go out with other couples, but if I ever see someone that I know from the past, I turn my head and hope to God he doesn't talk to me.
Well, but look, this guy, her husband really has a problem.
Hang on, you want to stand?
But is he also jealous of the children from the previous marriage?
Is he?
The oldest.
He's jealous of the oldest.
Yeah, he's 9 years old.
And is it a male?
Yeah, it was a boy.
Yeah.
But I mean, he makes things up in his head. I can be gone, and his little fantasies in his head are going so fast that when I get home, he's enraged with what I was doing. And I could have just gone to the store and gotten milk, you know?
I'll tell you, this has to be very painful on both sides. I'm not forgiving or passing judgment here. You know, to have this insecurity and to create this...
It's one of the most painful emotions there is, I think.
And
to
I think
feel as if your mate is going out with somebody else.
You got to wonder who's in prison today because it took hold of them and shook them beyond their own power to control it.
There's also a great deal of humiliation in the jealous feeling. I mean, can't most of you remember when you were in a jealous situation? Can you remember how suddenly you felt wonderful one minute and suddenly it's as if you were just drained? You're angry, you're humiliated, you're small. It's like, once again, being a child and impotent and unable to affect what is going on in the world. That's how you feel, and that's why you're so angry.
Why don't you just talk to him? Tell him this is it with this. You don't want us to do this anymore.
Yeah, shape up.
He realizes that he has a jealousy problem, okay?
Or send him to one of my colleagues. It sounds like he needs it.
Yeah, or you could send it to a therapist. You certainly have a right to live your life free of this kind of pressure.
But see, this is where you can't blame him for staying in a relationship that, you know, you choose. I'm just saying that jealousy is destructive. There's no good feelings about it at all.
Yeah.
And he's saying that jealousy is a good feeling to let it out, but then in a sense you have to realize...
I know. I got so much free advice for you. Can you see your television?
Yes.
Watch this. Yeah.
At this point in time, it seems men and women are equally jealous of one another.
I don't think that's true.
Well,
Who do you think is the more jealous?
Oh, I think by far women express the feeling of jealousy more.
Now, wait a minute. He said something very important, Phil. He said that women express jealousy more.
That's
we
right.
are the emotional
Men may
sex.
feel it, but they don't show it.
Well,
they
then
hide
your
it.
statement requires some annotation here.
But I did annotate it. I said women express it more.
I think males, this is not the Donahue theory, this is in the scholarship. Jealousy is about males wanting to make sure that the kid they're raising is their kid.
Well,
that is one of the roots.
Think about it.
That's just one reason.
There's never a doubt about maternity for quite obvious reason.
But,
well, there weren't blood tests when we were wandering around the savannah, you know, looking for a cave. Yeah.
I think that situations like this lady is in lead to battered wives.
I do
And many
too.
jealous
That's
husbands
right.
become batterers.
That's right.
you know, Phil, could we go back to what we were talking about before about who was the more jealous sex? Because it's a really important question. And I think what Dr. Robertiello was saying is that, yes, women express jealousy more. We're the emotional sex. We cry, we talk, we let it out. Men do not express jealousy, and they really constructed a society to protect themselves against jealousy.
Right.
Jealousy is the enemy of production. If men were to go out and work and be the providers, they had to be sure the little lady wasn't wandering.
Yes.
So they made her dependent. Society made her dependent. Women bought the dependency. We were angry, but we couldn't afford to show our anger because we'd lose home base. We were also desexualized. The Madonna whore split, for instance, is one of the great male defenses against feeling jealousy. You split the woman right down the middle. Divided, she falls. The nice lady you put on the pedestal, she's the mother to your children. The bad girl, lust, you go to a whore. The Madonna whore split explains so much of men's defenses.
And if you go to a whore, as in, then you don't feel as bad? Is that it? In other words, you're not really violating the Madonna because this is a different kind of class
listen,
of...
it's a classic that men will show to a whore, that kind of sexual expression they will not show to their wives.
But that's got its own consequence, and that has to do with the libido and erotica and the male out there who, you know, if you make your wife exclusively a Madonna in the holy sanctified sense, or even a mother, doesn't that diminish lust?
And
Of
how?
course.
And
Of
how?
Of
Oh,
course.
And
very
how
much
is it-
so. I mean, we see that a lot of times,
Really?
that you know, is there sex after marriage? I mean, the reason for that is this, you're with this wonderful...
The audience is saying, yeah!
But it does protect a man against jealousy.
Well, yes, ma'am. You want in this? Yeah.
If,
If what?
if women are coming of their own now, and we are coming of our own,
Yeah.
Is that going to affect a man?
What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to affect men,
Tell
and
me
I
how.
think there's going to be more and more jealousy, and that men are going to start showing it, and maybe letting
I think
out
they
some of their
already
feelings.
are. But don't you think it'll work itself out to the point where we're going to grow up? We're going to have to.
Who's we?
Well, but...
Males.
Men.
Males.
Yeah, but
we
not-
can't make it on our
for
income
another
alone.
50.
That's the point. I mean, you know
But
what I'm saying? It's
I
so.
think what she's saying is absolutely right. It's not just with the entry of women into the workforce. God knows that's probably the most important thing that's happened in this century.
Yes.
But it's also that women control contraception now. Never before in the history of the world have women controlled contraception. And men have an ancient fear of women's sexuality. It goes back to Greek mythology. Men really fear that women's sexuality is voracious, that left on our own, we would want more and more and more, and they would not be able to satisfy us.
I'll tell you what else is true.
True.
After we die, you are not interested in sex.
Oh, we need you, Phil.
Huh? You're getting up at this moment of our program. All right, give him your best. Yes, ma'am.
No, I think if they would treat sex as it should be and not have it lust, life would be much better.
No, but if I don't think we should call lust dirty.
No, but it's the way they speak about it.
Yeah.
They make it dirty.
Yeah.
If they would leave it as it should be, I think
Natural.
That's right.
I'm with
That's
you.
the way I
Phil,
look
I
at
didn't hear the question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
She has misgivings, as so many increasing numbers of people do, with the labeling of lust and natural libidinous interest as naughty, dirty, of itself bad. That's what's killing us.
I think that sometimes it isn't just a three-way thing involved in jealousy. I know the Bible talks about Jacob and Esau, and they were playing their parents against each other, and they were against each other is more of a complex thing. Esau was jealous of...
You're not giving me the whole Old Testament now here, are you?
No, but I think that's a classic example of...
Why don't you start with Cain and Abel?
Oh, but that's so important, Phil, because what he's talking about is envy. We haven't even talked about envy now.
All right, now give you an
And Jacob, was
opportunity.
it envy or was it jealousy? The Bible, the various translations, some translations say what Jacob's brothers felt was envy, some say it was jealousy. We use the words interchangeably and incorrectly. And we have to use them correctly. Jealousy is 3 people. Envy is 2. If you use them wrong, you're probably hiding from the nastiness of envy.
Are you there? Hi, I'm glad you called.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I'm shaking just thinking about the word jealousy. I'm 28 and my boyfriend's 50, and I never thought I'd fall in love with somebody that's that much older than me. And I figured I'd have an edge because if you're with somebody your own age, you're always looking at younger women. So I figure if I get somebody that's older than me, he won't look. But it's wrong. They still look.
Yeah.
Very wise.
How much older is he?
What?
How much
He's 22
older?
years older, and he
Wait a minute, I didn't hear you.
he's 22 years older.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
What's the matter? No, you're telling her no? Get rid of this guy, you're saying.
But then he'll be jealous, and she'll be the prisoner.
Go ahead. Well, yeah. What's your point? We interrupted you.
Okay, the thing is, he likes to pick up magazines like Playboy and all that, and movies, and I know it's normal. It's supposed to be normal for a man, but it just bothers me. And I ask him when he's looking at other women if he feels he's missing something, and he says no, but I don't know how to control it anymore. We're always breaking up because of it.
Yeah, is he 51?
No, he's 50.
50. He's going to be glad you corrected me. Doctor, fix this.
No, well, I think this lady is talking about her own need to be completely in possession of her husband's sexuality. In other words, she feels that if he looks at Playboy, it means there's less for her, and it's not based on a quantum. I mean, it's not like there are 10 units of sexuality, and if one of them goes to Playboy, she's only going to get 9. And so, I mean, she's really talking about her need to control all of his sexuality. There's enough to go to Playboy and her.
Yeah. Is it possible she wonders how she follows Playboy? A lot of women have been...
Oh, yes. Well,
you know, she does not get to airbrush her body before retiring. Is that a part of it, caller?
Excuse me?
Do you feel competitive with the women in Playboy magazine?
Yeah, because, I used to be I do. I feel like, you know, like that's the woman he's missing, you know?
Well, you don't have to have 22 years age gap to have that problem.
Did you say that you used to work? Were you about to say that you used to work?
Well, I'm not working right now. I'm a designer, and I'm getting a lot of orders right now. But I used to work full time, but now I'm not working. But it's I don't know. I'm going to buy your book, I tell you, because maybe there's something in there that.
Well, I would like to know if there's a man in the audience who's brave enough to get up and talk about it. How would you feel if your wife lay in bed beside you, leafing through Playgirl, looking at those men lying there with genitals that were far larger than your own? This is the great male fear. Is there a man? Here he's got to stand up.
May I say that I'm rather shocked at this audience. I mean, where are we getting these audiences?
Phil, how would you feel?
Huh?
How would you feel?
I wouldn't like it.
Why?
Well, first of all, you know, I guess there's a part of me that would hope that my wife would have other interests than leafing through any magazine at that moment of our day.
Well, that's really pretty direct competition if you're in bed with her.
It seems to me it goes back, like we were saying, to children. And, you know, self-esteem. Maybe if parents took more time to give the children a trusting background where they have a good self-esteem, that maybe the physical aspects wouldn't be as important, but you learn to trust and to love and to really respect the person that, you know, you've decided to spend the rest of your life with.
You're right on. That's absolutely it. Absolutely.
Holy cow. See? See, you know, they say, where are the men? Where are the men? They're here. I'm telling you.
But
they're here.
He's so right. He's so right. And you know, what's so crazy is we're moving into a world where there are fewer and fewer parents at home to take care of the children, and yet we're finding out more and more that these things are true. A child needs as much love and attention as you can give him in the first year of life. And that's what all of society, I think, should be addressing itself to now.
And that's the best way to prevent serious jealousy.
I'm on your team. Jealousy is the title of this book by Nancy Friday. What do you think? We'll be back in just a moment.
June 1985, a taste test with 180 people between Mrs. Butterworth's and a new syrup. The catch, all 180 are Mrs. Butterworth's users who expect thickness, richness, and of course, buttery flavor. Yet surprisingly, 45% prefer the new syrup, Aunt Jemima Butter Light. And Butter Light has only half the calories and sugar of Mrs. Butterworth's. So it isn't just good news for Butter Light, it's good news for us all. Butter Light, new from Aunt
Time takes its toll on freshness, even with coffee. Until now, ground coffee had to wait before being packed and sealed, losing freshness and aroma. But now, Maxwell House has found a special way to pack coffee immediately after grinding. The exclusive Fresh Lock packet lets Maxwell House lock in freshness and more aroma than ever. New Maxwell House, our freshest ever.
When I'm grown up, I'll buy pretty clothes and things. No, I'm going to shop not department stores. Not department stores. I'm going to Oliver's. Oliver's has designer fashion for ladies, men, and us kids. And it costs very little. Very little. With the money I save, I'll buy my kids lots of toys and candy.
Oliver's, not just great savings, great fashion. Always as much as 50% off department store prices. 17 stores in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut.
Ever wonder what married people do behind closed doors? Hey, you want to go upstairs? Huh?
Talk about Trivial Pursuit.
Tell me something.
Yeah?
Why does your mother always call when you're in bed?
Well, why do you always answer the phone?
For an intimate look at married life in America.
All right, gentlemen, here it is, your big 25-point bonus question for 25 points. Gentlemen, right now, who has more boo-boos on their body?
Watch the all-new Newlywed Game starting Monday at 7:30 on Channel 4.
Hi, thanks for waiting. Are you jealous?
No, not at all.
You're not.
No, I'd like to know what's wrong with somebody who absolutely feels no jealousy at all.
How long have you been married?
I'm divorced right now.
Oh.
Are you in love?
No,
Next
okay,
case.
Wait a moment.
Are you in love with someone?
No, I'm in love with someone. No, I have loved someone before, though. I mean, I don't happen to be in love right now.
Well, then you're not jealous.
No, but,
no,
that isn't the only
Hang
thing.
on just a second, Doctor.
No, I mean, not having any jealousy means there's something wrong.
No,
In other
I'm
words,
worried about it.
yes, because it isn't only a like jealousy is normal. You're supposed to
Oh,
have
but Richard, you're not supposed to be
living.
living with it 24 hours a day.
I understand, but she says she's never felt jealous in her life.
Did she say that?
Something
right?
like
I
that.
am very serious about this.
I know you are.
And
This
so
is a
am I.
concern of mine. Okay, so I mean, when I was married, all right, I actually said to him, "It's fine, go out, date, do anything you want. Just don't bring them home. I'm not doing their laundry."
But
That's different.
you know, that's off. If you have that kind of defense against jealousy, it means you're cut off in some way from some other feeling.
And it also means you wanted the marriage to end.
Well,
that
maybe.
might be a lot of it, but I don't.
Oh, well. In other words, she's doing the take my wife,
Sure.
please number.
Yes. And that'll be $50 for this.
No, the fees have gone up.
Oh, they're more now.
Oh, but I think there were a lot of men, especially in the old traditional world 15 years ago, who could say they were never jealous. The doctor here, I once went to interview him 5 years ago when I began my book, and he said, "No, I'm not jealous. I've never been jealous." And I looked at him, and I said, "Impossible." And so I continued going back to see him for conversations while I was writing Jealousy. And in time, it was terribly interesting. We got past his male defenses. He had wonderful defenses against jealousy.
Is that what you suggest?
First, he would get a woman and get her under his thumb, because of being an analyst, of course, he knew how to get inside her head.
Yeah.
And
Right. I've got to run here. Do you know how to, do you want a relationship?
Well, I mean, I don't happen to be in love with anyone right
I know that, but would you like to be?
Would I like to be? Yes, it's fun.
Fine.
She
But I'm
doesn't
not, I mean, I
well,
have big
she doesn't
concerns in
sound
my
like
life.
she's really involved enough to be jealous.
No, but it sounds like she doesn't want to be involved.
Well, I understand. So, I mean,
So
it's
she's
easy
avoiding
not
the
to
whole
be,
picture. Hang on a
It's
minute.
easy not to be jealous if you don't care.
Hang on a minute, please.
I wanted to tell you that I'm 50 years old, and I'm 12 years older than my wife, sitting right here.
Yes.
And she wouldn't look at those boys' magazines because she's fully satisfied sexually with me.
What's the matter? You want to talk about it?
I'd like to hear what she has to
There's
say.
something wrong with her if she's not curious about the opposite
Hear, hear.
sex.
Right.
We grow up in such ignorance. I'm one of 3 sisters. I never saw a nude male until I married.
Yeah. And we can only speculate how you recovered from that experience.
45 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm married 40 years, and I've bought my husband Playboy and Playgirl, and he goes to the X-rated movies, and then he comes home and he tells me and he teaches me.
Wow. Live and learn.
Yeah. What would Esau say about that?
It depends. Actually, I think that really it isn't low self-esteem. Sometimes it can be high self-esteem, like the JR complex.
Oh, you mean power and...
Power, yeah.
Oh, I think he's right on again. Because if you have an inflated idea of your own importance, if you think you're king of the world, and you have chosen a partner because you need to feel that, and that's exactly why you chose that person, because they see you constantly as king of the world. Well, of course, if you think you're going to lose that person, you're going to just drop from the king of the world to zero.
yeah,
You need them constantly to be telling you you're number one and only.
The hero-zero split, I call it. In other words, well, if you think you're the most wonderful thing of all time, and then somebody doesn't think so, or somebody
You're
leaves
zero.
you, it just wipes you
I
out.
see.
Where if you think you're pretty good, but not the greatest.
Yeah.
If you lose a couple along the way, it doesn't destroy it.
That's interesting. All right. Hold on. So we don't want a hero zero married to a Madonna whore complex. There you got real fun. We'll be back in just a moment.
Strength. It's what makes or breaks a plastic trash bag. New yellow bags are stronger than hefty, stronger than Glad, because yellow bags are made from a stronger plastic. New yellow bags.
Look for coupons for this great product in the special September 8th newspaper insert and help my kids. Thank you.
The difference is visible. The difference is visible. Visible difference from Elizabeth Arden. Penetrates moisture 20 cell layers deep, almost to where new skin is born. And in just 14 to 21 days, a dramatic change will take place in your face. The difference is visible. Only Elizabeth Arden can call a face cream visible difference. Your gift with any $7.50 Elizabeth Arden purchase.
We're at 4422 Fifth Avenue. My father's been operating a meat store on Fifth Avenue for over 35 years.
We don't find there's so much trouble anymore like there used to be in the neighborhood.
Mayor Koch put a lot more patrolmen on the beat in our neighborhood, and a lot of the guys are now out of the cars and onto the streets.
It's nice to see cops on the street, on foot.
We merchants have felt, being that there's more officers on the streets, we're able to open till later hours.
I feel that the mayor has done a very good job in his appointment of Ward as commissioner. He's been down at the 72nd Precinct. I know he was instrumental in the street patrol, as the 72nd Precinct, our local precinct, is one of the test projects for New York City.
These kids used to break into the cars and rob the radios. They haven't done too much of that at all in the last year, since as long as there's cops on the beat.
Jealousy is the title of Nancy Friday's book. Is the caller there? Hi.
Yes, hi. I've been married for 5 years. I just got a letter from my old boyfriend, and my husband's not jealous one iota.
And how do you feel about that?
If he'd be jealous, I'd be happy.
Again, that lack of jealousy doesn't mean mental health.
Well,
and it doesn't.
I find it. Here we are talking about a guy. We're talking about a guy who's not jealous, and we're analyzing him and saying there's something wrong with the guy.
No, I don't think there is something wrong with the guy. I mean, I think if you're in a marriage, in a good relationship, we're not saying, and at least I'm not saying, that you should be constantly jealous if your mate gets a letter from an ex-lover, an ex-husband or wife or whatever. I'm saying that in a real jealous situation, when you are in a triangle, you here, your beloved there, a rival there, a real rival who is threatening your exclusive relationship to this person, then you should be jealous. Then.
Yeah. Let me try. You've been married for?
5 years.
And the last time you saw this guy who's written you this letter was?
6 years ago.
And you feel flattered that he would have written and expressed interest in seeing you?
Yes, I'm terrifically flattered. I'm glad.
Now, I have another question for you. Now, don't get crazy, but take your time. All right?
Yeah.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Are those embers still burning a little?
Yep.
Well, that's why you... Of course. That's why you want your husband to be jealous.
But also,
I would forbid this woman, if she were my wife, to see the guy.
That makes sense. If you knew
except that it's not my job to forbid anything, you know? I mean,
I understand.
That's hardly the kind of marriage.
You could ask her not to.
Why don't you just forget about this guy?
I don't want to.
Look.
You want to know what? I'm going to tell you something. You listening?
Yep.
He's fat.
No, he's not.
He got real fat. You aren't going to believe it when you see this guy. Has it been 6 years?
Yeah.
You should see the tummy on this guy today.
The tummy on me.
Bill, I think it's important to understand there are a lot of women like this. We buy monogamy. There's nothing wrong with monogamy. Monogamy is wonderful if you choose to have it. But I don't necessarily think monogamy is a natural state. You work at it, you want it, it's a choice. Perhaps polygamy is a more natural state. We're all attracted to other people, but we have our ethics, we have our religion, we decide certain things, we want monogamy. That doesn't mean that you aren't still interested in an old boyfriend. This woman, she wants her monogamy, and she wants her flirtation too, and she's put her husband in the role of telling her, she wants him to be jealous and stop her from being hot about somebody outside the relationship.
On the other hand, she has the right to expect a certain buzz from him, maybe not a jealous rage, but at least a little interest in the situation.
The situation is only in her head, Richard. It isn't real. Why should she expect a buzz from him?
But it is real. You just heard her say that she's still turned on to this guy.
But how does her husband know that? Her husband knows that she is indeed monogamous. This woman wants to set up something, and she wants her husband, as Phil says, to police her. Wrong.
I don't see it that way. I think that she does have something going, and she ought to know that she ought to feel.
You know what she's got? She's got a 6-year-old memory, and it never. You know, the guy wears glasses. I mean, he's over the hill. This guy. Hang on a minute. Yeah.
Phil, I think it's flattering that your husband be a little jealous of you.
That's her point. That's what this caller is saying. Yeah.
Right.
And I think
she's worried the guy's so cavalier about this.
Exactly.
I think it's great, though. Really, that you know.
That he seems a little worried to me. Yeah.
If otherwise, maybe he wouldn't.
What? That it'd be better if he were a little worried.
But how would she feel if he got a letter and he wanted to go out?
How would that be with you, caller?
You want to know something? I wish he would get a letter. The only reason why he married me was because he said I was
if he got a letter, then you could act on your letter?
Yeah.
The only reason why he married me was because he said I was the only girl that didn't dump him.
Oh, wow.
Wow. You married a safe ticket, but you want to play around, and you're afraid to.
Yes, and now she wonders about she wonders if she got the cream of the crop here.
Exactly. Well, if he defines himself as such a loser, I mean, she can't think very well of him. He doesn't think very well of himself.
Look, I think traditionally, I mean, and men still do. Men marry down, women marry up. Men married women who they could be sure of. What's that advice fathers used to always give to their sons? Never marry a woman you can't be sure of.
Well, that Caribbean song about always marry an ugly woman.
Right.
You don't have anything to worry about.
Exactly. Well, now women, I think, are doing the same thing. Women who have now found a little bit of mobility in the world, they find they can take care of themselves a little bit. Now, women, they look at the very handsome man, and they look at the nice, safe schmuck, and they think, gee, the schmuck is sort of nice, but at least I won't have to worry about him, and I can get on with my work.
Yeah.
So now we've got women doing what men used to do.
I just thank God I don't understand Yiddish or Hebrew. Same-ish schlemiel, right?
I'm wondering if this woman is also now feeling guilt that she's thinking about this other man and can't share it with her husband. Is that creating a big problem?
Yeah, she wants somebody to punish her for her bad thoughts.
I don't know, does she?
Well,
what do you think, caller?
I don't want to ever hurt anybody, and I don't want to hurt my husband either. But if he doesn't care, why should I?
Uh-huh.
You have sexual desires you clearly are afraid of acting on.
Hang on a minute. Yes, ma'am.
Probably at this instance, if she keeps this up, something is definitely going to get involved.
Oh, I think she's waiting for the big... Now let me... you are going to see this guy, right?
I sure hope so.
Are you going to tell your husband you're going to see him?
He already told me to go.
Oh, well.
Now, will you see him in a park, in a public place? What?
I don't know. Wherever he wants.
Well, yeah, well, obviously she's saying she isn't madly or passionately in love with her husband. And from the way he sets himself up as such a loser, you'd have to say you can't blame her.
Well, now, let's not talk about the guy who's not even here. What's the matter?
No, but that's what he calls himself.
I don't think jealousy is flattering at all. I think if the person loves you, they can show that love in so many positive ways. And flattery, I think, can be very negative. We've been hearing these callers, and there's a lot of negativity. And I don't think that it should be accepted or desired.
I don't either.
Wait a minute, that isn't true. I mean, there's a certain... there's a certain normal amount of jealousy.
Well, she's she acknowledges that, but she doesn't think it's a good thing.
No, but
it
is flattering.
I don't think it's good to seek out jealousy in your mate.
Oh, I don't either.
But But
No.
this is what you're intimating by what you're saying.
Oh, no,
if you
I'm
don't
not.
feel jealousy and if you don't
Well,
show
but
that you're
don't
jealous
you-
of your mate, you don't love
Don't
that
you
person.
think we got a
not-
problem here with this guy? And not to mention her.
Well, I think...
I wouldn't give you... What?
Let me ask the caller a question. Does your husband show that he loves you in other ways?
He's always too tired.
Oh, okay. Do
Let's
you
go on
love
to something
your
more
husband?
interesting.
We got a lot of people in the outer lobby, so, you know. See, the waiting room is filling up here for you. Yeah. You've been married 5 years. No children?
That's another problem. He can't father any. We're having a problem.
He can't
Can't father any.
Too tired. All right. Well, wait a minute. We can't just say goodbye to this woman. How do you feel about going to meet the guy with your husband?
Two's company, three's a crowd.
I think we got it. Well, we got a tryst coming. Isn't that what we call this?
Absolutely.
Okay. What is
In this situation, the issue is not jealousy. There doesn't seem to be a true relationship in the marriage.
Right.
So the issue is not jealousy.
Somebody doesn't care.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
You're my one and only. My creamy deluxe, my only one with butter. You butter me up. You sweet talker, Betty Crocker. Oh, honey, what you do to me? You spread with devastation and you lead me on and on. Oh, creamy deluxe, you're the cream of a crop. Frosting with butter. You knock my socks off. You sweet talker, Betty Crocker. Right.
Welcome to La Cage aux Folles.
Hello, this is Van Johnson. Join me and Walter Charles and Broadway's greatest company of singers and dancers for La Cage aux Folles, winner of 6 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. I'm having a fabulous time, and you will too. See it with someone you love.
At the Palace Theater. For tickets, call Charge It.
If you've ever chosen Dannon over Breyer's yogurt, watch Breyer's turn your yogurt world upside down. Because at the bottom of every cup of new, improved Breyer's strawberry yogurt is more fruit, thicker, richer fruit. It'll turn you right around to new, improved Breyer's. Now that thick, creamy Breyer's yogurt has more real strawberries than Dannon. It tastes great. Try new Breyer's, the full of fruit yogurt. Get to the bottom of it yourself.
Girls, can we talk? Would you believe I'm a size 20? Well, I am, and I look and feel great since I found Charisma. You'll find exciting designer fashions in sizes 14 to 46. Casual dresses and designer sportswear. Elegant evening wear and accessories. At long last, I have Charisma.
In Brooklyn at Ralph Avenue, in Plainview on South Oyster Bay Road, in our new location in Westchester on Central Avenue, dial 212 Big Gals.
Every time you go to the store and don't buy a Purdue chicken, you could be taking a gamble. You could get a chicken that's a little skinny, or one that tastes a little funny, or one that's not so fresh, or tender, or juicy. You might even get one as good as Purdue. Why chance it?
Hi, I'm glad you waited. Go ahead.
Hi, is this...
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the woman who just called before, because... I agree with the woman who just called because I feel that a little bit of jealousy now and then is very good, because I happen to be married for 10 years. As a matter of fact, tomorrow will be 10 years, and my husband shows no emotions whatsoever. I mean, as far as jealousy goes.
And it bothers you.
It bothers me to a point because it has made me feel like I have no self-esteem for myself. I feel that maybe I'm unattractive or whatever the case may be, and I don't think it's fair, that everybody...
Hang on just a moment here, Doctor.
I wonder, does he show any emotions about anything? Does he show he wants you? He's attracted to you? Is he passionate?
He's point. See, that's the thing. Like, he's a very difficult person to get kind of emotions from.
I think that's true of so many men. I mean, men are really raised to hide their feelings. They're frightened of their feelings.
Hang on a minute. Hi.
Hi, how can we take this emotion jealousy that we all supposedly have and make it positive, make it construct a relationship, as opposed to destroying the relationship?
Well, I think that's very important. I think the next time, for instance, you see yourself in a so-called jealous situation, before becoming angry, before becoming depressed, before, let's say, taking it out on your mate, you should really stop and stand back and say, what am I feeling? That's why I think it's better to perhaps call it a jealous situation than just jealousy. Because if you think, what am I feeling about the rival? Is it envy that I'm feeling? Is it envy that my rival is younger than me, prettier than me, more powerful than me? Is that the person I really am most angry at? Or is my rage directed at the person I care about? Or is it just this old feeling that I grew up with, that I'm a loser, that I've lost once more? Is this terrible loss of self-esteem? Is really the butt of your emotion buried inside yourself? And does it stem back from your own personal history? If you know what you feel, you can then act on it.
But I think also you ought to communicate the feeling to your mate. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
For what it is, though, the honest feeling.
Well, yes, but I think a lot of people hide their jealousy. And lots of times, if you are especially prone to it, you can get your mate to help you out by not making a pass at the lady at the next party.
Over here, please.
I'm a daycare provider, and I have a lot of children who are with just one parent, and they're with me most of the day. And I'm wondering, the development of the kids, it's my responsibility, and how should I be directing?
Do you find yourself wondering whether you're giving one child more attention?
No, I try, but with babies, babies need to be held, and so, yeah, I'm holding...
How many babies do you have?
Just one. She's 8 months. But I find that I'm holding her a lot now, and some of the boys are fighting a lot more.
How many other children are in your care?
I have 11 children.
But I think it's a good idea to communicate to the boys who are jealous of the baby that that's a normal feeling they have, so they won't feel terribly guilty about it. The idea is from the very beginning, especially with one or more children, with two or more children in the home, to let the kids know it's okay to be jealous.
But I admire her conscientiousness about it.
Yeah.
The fact
because
that she's
especially in this world today where there is so much loss and there's so little constancy in a child's life. I mean, a child is going to grow up, half the children today are going to grow up in a divorced family, and another 20% of those are going to grow up in a second divorce. A child needs some feeling of constancy to develop what this gentleman said was a basic sense of trust, which is how we don't grow up jealous.
My question is, with these women that have husbands that show no emotion, would their marriage improve if they had an affair?
Well, I'd hate to jump into that.
I think yes, because I think that would wake the men up and say, well, I better start rethinking and doing something differently and pay more attention to my wife.
But affairs that the husband knows about are often more destructive than helpful. Very rarely does that improve a situation.
Yes.
I think that the only problem with the Quallers marriages is that there's no love in their marriage, not that the husband's not jealous.
Exactly.
I mean, I saw an old boyfriend of mine with my husband, and my husband wasn't jealous, and I was happy because there was no reason for him to be.
Yes, ma'am?
You keep talking about jealousy, but you haven't stopped. You didn't start on envy and resentment.
That's a very good point.
Well, they're two very different things. Go ahead.
I think...
Well, we got to get a new host, I guess, to figure... What is it that you wanted to say?
First of all, I'm a proud mother of my son, sitting right next to my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm married 52 years.
Yeah.
And my husband and I, we only have 3 years difference between us. He is very envious of myself, of me, because I have been devoting most of my time to social work, voluntary. I never get paid for it.
Right.
And
What's he want you to do?
Well, he wants me to work and get paid for it, and I'm very much against it. Presently, I'm with the Education Alliance. I work with the senior citizens, although I'm a senior citizen myself.
So he's upset you're out there giving all this talent for nothing.
And, well, but it has changed him a lot. He's very envious.
Yeah,
and
is he here?
No.
Well, let's get him down here and fix this out.
Well, he wants you to pay attention to one senior citizen, namely him.
Yes. And you might say that is jealousy. I mean, remember, to know envy from jealousy. Jealousy is 3. Perhaps he's feeling envy too, but all these things you do take you away from him, so he's jealous of these outside people and these outside community efforts you get into. He's maybe also envious that you can do that.
I got an hour show. I'd be happy to. Can we talk afterward? I appreciate your contribution to it, but this sounds like something complicated enough to require its own program. And we'll be back in just a moment.
It's not easy being me. Anything can happen. Got this chasing Buster. This one's from sliding into second. I was safe. So are my Siler lenses. Even I can't scratch them, because they're coated with Siler Super Shield and guaranteed against scratching. So if anything happens, if these Super Shield lenses get even a single scratch, Mom takes them back and I get a new pair free.
Insist on Silar Super Shield lens protection for your family, because anything can happen.
Anything just happened.
Macy's has savings designed with you in mind. Save on contemporary or traditional leather sofas just $995. Quasar 19-inch color TV with full-function remote control, only $349. Genuine hand-carved, hand-knotted India rugs, now $1,000. Your choice of wing, swivel rocker, or club chairs, just $199 each. And designer king and queen-size sheets, only $999. All this and more at Macy's Home Design Sale, Friday and Saturday.
Excellence in the theater, challenging beliefs, provoking thought, inspiring action, encouraging change. As is, the most talked about, the most written about, the most powerful play you may ever see. As is, winner of the 1985 Drama Desk Award, Best Play of the Year, for those who dare to accept the challenge of excellence. As is, at the Lyceum Theater. Call Telecharge for tickets, 239-6200.
Go on the tangerine diet.
No, eat 12 onions a day.
12 onions a day. 12 onions a day? Shirley's on the taco diet. 12 onions a day?
Which diet is right? Ask Lucille Roberts, the figure authority.
Our computerized workout program and diet plan, designed just for you, can help you reach your goal and stay there.
Join now during our 2-for-1 Great Body Sale, only $1.89 each per week. Call now for a special bonus.
Don't trust your body to just anybody.
Lucille Roberts is your figure authority.
Jammed the phones here with not much time. You wanted to say there's rational jealousy and irrational.
Yeah, I think one of the problems we've been having in discussing it is that we're confusing normal jealousy with pathological jealousy.
Or irrational jealousy, when there's really nothing going on. It's a suspicion in your head.
Yeah, how do you know, though? That's, you know.
Well,
that's for you to find out. That's your work.
Are you there? Hi.
Hi. Good morning. My boyfriend is often disrespectful towards me where other women are concerned. And when I complain, he says I'm jealous. I don't think I'm jealous, and I don't want to be. I think he's rejecting me, and he's inconsiderate. Now,
what do you mean? How is he inconsiderate? He's attentive to other women?
Yes. For instance, if we're at a party, I would turn around, and he's no longer there, and he's off talking to another woman. And I complain, and he says, you're jealous.
Yeah, and you think it's inconsiderate. Good point.
Well, I think she's right.
I think she's right, too.
I think she's right, and I think people...
say to the guy, it bothers me if you do that, and I don't want you to do it anymore.
And be careful if you let yourself get into a marriage or a longer-standing relationship with this man, because you know something about him now, and you know something that hurts yourself. If you marry him, you're asking for trouble you knew about.
You don't want 30 years of this. Hi, are you there?
Yes.
Not much time.
Hi. I am really jealous of something completely different. I am jealous of the total woman. She drives the Volvo station wagon, has the 3 kids in the back, has a great job. Her husband has a great job. They live in a great house, have a pool, and I could not make some
envy.
That's
envy.
Yeah, not only that, she doesn't exist.
Right.
She's miserable. Let's hear it for her. Yeah. Not much time.
Okay, what I've found is that envy can be healthy. I find something in somebody else that I really like to have for myself, and then I go out and try to
That's
get
admiration,
it for
and that's terrific.
Maybe I can get another one.
Admiration.
Right. Yeah.
We need more admiration in this world and less envy.
Right. And we'll be back in just a moment.
These automatic toilet bowl cleans last about 1 month. 2,000 flushes cleans up to 4 months. I'm Al Eisen. I invented 2,000 flushes because scrubbing the toilet is a lousy job. So I put enough chlorine bleach in my 2,000 flushes to clean up the 4 months. And chlorine bleach is the same chemical they use to keep swimming pools clean. Remember, my 2,000 flushes keeps the toilet clean up to 4 months. So why buy anything else?
Look for this money-saving coupon in Sunday's paper.
Someday there'll be an extraordinary eyewear department store. A comprehensive, state-of-the-art eye examination. The right contact lenses will be waiting for you. Perhaps the largest selection of frames in this world, and all for far less than today's prices. Someday is today at iLab, the world's first eyewear department stores.
Electricity outages. A difficult problem is finding the cause and exact location. On Long Island, it used to be time-consuming work. Even then, Lilco had one of the best service records in the state. Now Lilco has a new, vastly improved system, the latest technology. It rapidly searches out damaged equipment, pinpoints problems faster than ever, so that service can be restored faster than ever.
A message from the new Lilco, energy for a growing Long Island.
How could something that looks so funny?
Original raisin or honey wheat, it's Thomas's. To eat.
Nooks and crannies told with butter, they taste so crunchy. Just 10 we don't can't wait to. Thomas's English muffins.
Thomas's taste so mouth-watering good, people just can't wait to eat them.
The original one and only funny-looking, tasty cooking.
Delicious Breyer's Ice Cream presents the Peach Test. If you were a peach, where would you rather be? In here with all these ingredients, sorry. Or in Breyer's, with just milk, sugar, cream, and other friendly peaches. The peaches I spoke to said they'd prefer to be in Breyer's. And you know what? They are.
Breyer's all-natural ice cream. Nothing but pure enjoyment.
Here. Jealousy is the title. Its author is Nancy Friday. I'm out of time, yeah.
I just wanted to know, since we've dealt with envy and jealousy, do you have any answers?
Thinking of new ways to crash.
This News 4 highlight is sponsored by A&S.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rolanda Watts. In the news, authorities in Passaic, New Jersey are trying to decide whether the 2 young boys who confessed to igniting that massive Labor Day fire will be charged as adults. And Reggie Harris updates the story. Gabe Pressman reports on the last mayoral candidates debate, and David Diaz tells us how they joined a march of strap hangers this morning. On Live at 5 today, G. Gordon Liddy and Reverend Jerry Falwell. Join us.
What an experience. It's the electronic sale experience.